are from the Rural Women's Center for Education and Development. Today is the World AIDS Day. So that's why we have come to your school today to talk to you about HIV and AIDS. Are we okay? So now, I'll be very grateful if you are just quiet like you are quiet like this and talk only when need arises, okay? Okay. Today is the World AIDS Day, and the theme for this year's celebration is Getting to Zero. Getting to zero means zero infections and zero discriminations. Zero to new infections. That means those who are already infected, we should try as much as possible to allow the existing cases remain and then no new cases. That's why I say zero infections, zero to new infections and discrimination. Now, can somebody tell me the meaning of HIV? Don't be shy, please.
Don't grumble.
Yes. That's great. Human immune virus. We also have human immunodeficiency virus. And it's acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So now, what is this all about? First of all, the causes. What causes this HIV? Like we said, HIV is a virus, and when it's in you, it stays for some time before becoming AIDS. So the causes of this virus, HIV. First, we have unprotected sex. We have through unsterilized sharp objects like blades. Thank God you are technical students. I know you use these things: blades, needles, syringes, toothbrush. Yes, these things, they cause HIV. So these things are always good. If you have yours, you use it personally. We also have another cause like through blood, like cuts. If you have a wound in your hand and it's bleeding, another person with wound, if you're an infected person or the person is an infected person, when the blood touches, another person is infected. Signs and symptoms of HIV and AIDS. Yes. Persistent headache, on and off. Yes. Yes. I have rashes on my body. Rashes, clap for them. Yes, you also have persistent fever. You have diarrhea, coughing, sudden loss of weight. All these things are some of the signs and symptoms of HIV and AIDS. We also have shingles. Do you know this? Shingles, got fire. Yes, these are some of the signs and symptoms of HIV and AIDS. Now, how to prevent this? Avoid. The first way of preventing HIV and AIDS is abstinence. Abstain from sexual intercourse, because sex is the most common and easiest way of being infected. So you have to abstain from it. You are still too young to get into this. Again, if you want to go into sex, use condoms. You have to protect yourself. So you avoid sharing these sharp objects. Always use your things personally, because you don't know what another person may have. Again, avoid washing wounds with bare hands. If you have a wound, or another person, if you have to wash the wound of a sick person, make sure you put on gloves to wash the wounds, because the blood, you don't know if the person is infected, or if the person is infected and you know, then you are washing the person's wounds with bare hands. Imagine what can happen to you. You're immediately infected. So you avoid washing wounds with bare hands. Again, make sure the blood of an individual, if you are doing blood transfusion, make sure the blood is screened and tested before the transfusion. You know about blood transfusion. You can also get AIDS through that. So if you are in a situation where the process has to be carried on, you make sure the blood is well screened before the process takes on. Now Ms. Julia will continue with you people, and later maybe you have some questions to ask or contribution.
So, the theme this year is getting to zero. Zero new infections and zero discrimination. AIDS has unleashed prejudice in a society from which HIV positive has to suffer. We connect HIV with bad sexual behavior, maybe prostitution and drug abuse. But all in all, it doesn't matter with what exactly we connect HIV. It's never something good. HIV-infected persons suffer a lot from this social prejudice. They are isolated, or they isolate themselves from the society. They are seen as bad persons you better should stay away from. You know already about the transmission of the virus. So you can't get infected by a normal handling. You can greet, you can talk, you can hang around, you can even kiss without any consequences. So why avoiding that? It's not that those people wanted to have AIDS, and maybe it was not even their fault. I mean, imagine, what if you get infected? Do you want your neighborhood, your classmates, your friends, or even your family to stay away from you? When you are sick, you want someone to care for you, right? Yes. Those people will probably die, and we should help them and care for them instead of judge them. No group should have to accept the blame for HIV or AIDS, or be stigmatized because of this disease. It's important that we find ways to reduce the spread of this virus. Developing effective treatments and preventions. Also educate about the risk of sexual behavior. But we should say no to discrimination and get to zero discrimination. And because you are like the upper class also, we talk about responsibility with you. It is easy to protect yourself from the most common way of HIV transmission, the sexual intercourse, by using a condom. But then, why are so many people don't do? It is because of a variety of psychological and social factors. For example, the degree of willingness to be prepared for sex, the fear of condemnation from parents, religious leaders, or the society has often made it difficult for young people to plan ahead and prepare for sexual activity. Many, therefore, prepare to regard sex as accidental or spontaneous in order to bear less responsibility. Because it's easier to say, oh, it was a bad idea, it was a failure, than to say, yes, I planned it, I bought condoms, I was prepared, right? If you fear the reaction of your partner, that he could refuse to have sex with you, or even that he will be angry and put a hand on you, then you have probably chosen the wrong partner. Such a person don't even deserve the time you want to spend with him. I know, sometimes it's hard to talk about sexuality or sex itself, but there is nothing wrong by going to a shop, a pharmacy, or to the hospital to ask for condoms. Don't think, oh no, they know I'm sexually active, what if they tell somebody? Rather think about what you want, that you want to grow up, that you want to live your life, and that you maybe want to have your family. Don't care about what others might think, care about yourself. Also, the degree of understanding of personal vulnerability. At various times in life, people are prone to feeling relatively invincible. Like, they may believe that every consequence, even a negative one, is reversible. The cruel reality is not only HIV infection is a very real threat. For the time being, it's irreversible. If you get the virus, they are complicated medical treatments that may delay the onset of disease. But there is no way to get rid of it. At the present time, there is no cure. Also, don't be foolish and think that is enough when you take a closer look at the person. You are most of the time not able to see if someone is HIV positive. Because, first of all, being infected does not mean that you have any symptoms, so that you have the disease AIDS. Secondly, even if you take your retroviral medicine, there are appetizer in it. So an affected person can look as healthy as non-infected, or even healthier because of more weight. Of course, you could ask your partner before if he is HIV positive, but he could also lie at you. So, only a certificated AIDS test is telling the truth. But like Ms. Vera told you before, this test can be negative if you are newly infected. So do it around 3 months, every 3 months, test yourself. So just be aware of all those things. It is your choice. Even if your partner is refusing to use a condom, you can still refuse to have sex. It is and it will be always your choice. So, and now, how to protect ourselves, how to use a condom. I'm sure you all know this, but I will say it again. The condom should be unrolled onto the erect penis before intercourse begins. It's important that you leave an empty, not air-filled space at the tip of the condom for the semen. So, you're pinching the top of the condom while unrolling it, so that to make sure that there's no air inside. Because when there's already air inside, the semen has no space, right? So, and what is also very important is how to put it off. So, after ejaculating, you remove the penis slowly out of the vagina to avoid slipping off. You hold on the base of the condom, just to secure that it's not slipping off and enter the vagina.
Preventing HIV and AIDS is abstinence. Now, if you cannot abstain from sex, one of the best ways to prevent the HIV is the use of condoms, because condoms will prevent STIs or STDs, sexually transmitted disease, and prevent unwanted pregnancy, and also prevent the AIDS itself. But now, how do you use the condom and its quality also matters. Before you buy or pay for condoms, you make sure you look at the expiry date. Again, make sure there is no hole on the packet, because when there is hole on the packet, air will enter in the condom. Air will enter in the packet and now reduce the quality of the condom, and there may be a problem during usage. Touch the packet of the condom and see if there is space inside, to see if it is really slippery or if it is oily, before you pay for it. Again, during intercourse or after intercourse, the man, like Julia said, should withdraw himself slowly to avoid the condom to get back into the vagina. Because if it happens, if it's like coming out with force, the condom may fall back into the vagina. There another problem again. Imagine there is condom in you. Yes. So you need to be very careful. Yeah. Maybe some of us have questions for us.
Yeah,
What
please.
if the condom enters the woman? What will happen after when the condom enters her? What will happen to her?
Okay. First of all, the semen is inside the condom, right? So, when it enters into the vagina, it flows out of the condom. It enters you. So, either you get pregnant, or you get any other STIs, STDs, or you get HIV infected because the semen, so where all those things are inside, enter you.
How do you dictate when there's a hole on the condom? How do you dictate when there's a hole on the condom?
Either you see, the question was, how do we see that there is a hole in the condom? So, first of all, of course, you look at the package before you open it. When you see a hole on the outside, just don't use it. Even if it might not has touched the condom itself, only the package, just don't use it. The second thing is, of course, when you put it on, you see when there is a hole. You can see it, you just have to take a look.
All right. They talked of blood transfusion, blood touching this one. What if two students are playing on the field, the other one falls and then blood is oozing out while I have wounds on my hand? Will I be able to hold the wound with my own to stop the blood? What do I do?
No, it is not good because that's one of the ways of infection. So it's not good. Like I said, it's good to put on gloves before washing the wounds. But now that is an emergency. I think you look for water and you pour on it to wash out the blood. And then so the person concerned can hold. Yes.
So,
while they're washing.
Yeah, I asked that question because I saw one boy here having nose bleeding and another person was already holding the nose. They want to go and wash it. It's not correct. You don't know whether you have a wound or not, and you don't know the status of that person or your own.
And then too, poverty. Sometimes it's always good to be contented with your situation. Be grateful for what you have, with what you have, and where you come from. Sometimes we try to imitate other people and be like our friends, and then we go into some kind of life, like go into sexual intercourse with people because we want to get money and be like other people. It is not always good. It's good to be contented with what you have. Is there any other question? Yes.
When eating with the person and you are eating with the spoon, if the person is having a wound in the mouth, which the person has an HIV, what will you do?
Again, if you have a wound in your mouth and the HIV infected person has also a wound in this mouth, which is bleeding at this moment when you are taking the spoon. So when you are eating and you take out the spoon of your mouth and there is blood on it from the HIV infected person and you give it to the non-infected person who has a wound in his mouth, then he will get infected, but it's not really like probably.
No, you cannot be infected through saliva, but you can be tested through saliva. They can test whether you have HIV through your saliva, but you cannot be infected through saliva. It is only through blood. and with other means of blood, not through your saliva.
Oh, why? Because there are some guys that use the anus.
Okay.
Listen.
Yes, you can be infected because you have a really soft skin in the vagina, also in your rectum. So it's the same thing. If the semen enters, you are infected. So also, if you have anal sex, you have to use a condom to protect yourself. It's the same thing when you have oral sex. You can also be infected when you have a wound on your throat and you are swallowing the semen. You can also be infected. The whole disease is about getting infected through directly contact with the semen or with blood.
Okay. Yeah, now students, we brought about 500 packets of condoms for you people. Yes, we know.
So they have teaching people how to use a condom. Will you still have the HIV virus?
Yeah. No. I will not have it because I will use it to prevention of this.
So how will you advise your friends?
I want them to be using it.
To be using what?
Condom.
Show the condom.
To prevent HIV virus.
I advise those on that age, don't try to use
Yes. This one. I look at one. This condom. Do not have sex with that condom. This is my advice that I would have my little one.
For coming to share with us and then for deciding to put you people aside. If you've been separated from the rest of the students, it's because we assume that they're very responsible and serious students. And you're all involved in the GC exercise, going to write. And some of you will be leaving this school for higher education, for university. And we thought that this message has to be a bit more adjusted and given to you precisely. The difference that's been made here is the fact that they've had to talk to you about condom use. And I hope the message has been made very clear. I was happy that at assembly, they said abstinence is the best way out. Abstinence is the best way out. We know that some of you are students, but you are married, legally married. Some of you are legally married. And to have responsible sexual life, there are lots of things that have to go along with it, and the condom has to come in as a topic, as such. You know, you cannot spend so much of effort and sacrifice so much. Spend 5 years in secondary school and 2 extra years in high school, and then get to university and make an error, and it takes only 1 minute to make that error. And you, the girls, you know that you are more at risk. You are more at risk because most of the time it's the boy who makes an advance, who advances, who comes towards you. Most of the time, it's only very few circumstances that it's the reverse. And you, the girls, therefore, you are very much at risk, and you must be double and triple conscious and be very careful. Do not ruin your life because of a minute wrong decision. You will ruin everything. And as I always tell my students and my children, life is so wonderful. Life is great. When you finish your studies, you go to university, you have a nice job, like all of us do. You live well, and life is good.